After that, you'll be going by your first aid station, and the first big climb of the day is Forest Service Road 3350.
So here's my video from the HI-90 Grindy, which is a race in Cle Elum, which is up in the Snoqualmie Mountains, close to Seattle. Cle Elum is luckily quite close to a place named Suncadia, which is a little area that has a whole bunch of VRBOs. So this made for a nice weekend with the family in the mountains, and I got to spend Saturday racing, well, not really racing, but riding my bike on some very nice roads. The layout of this race was very well designed. It starts out with about 20 miles on pavement, and this beginning part of the race has a lot of small rolling hills, enough to kind of get the field separated nicely, so that everybody's not all bunched up at the time that we hit the gravel, which is about 20 miles into the race.
Hopefully it's a good decision.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. I used to ride on my endurance road bike, and the bearings in those wheels, they took a punishment from all the gravel, so like.
This is in the in the valley out by Snoqualmie, so you do have one, amazing views, and two, there's a pretty good wind that's kind of blowing through this area also. Weather was extremely nice. You can see blue skies. It had not rained. It had been a little bit rainy earlier in the week, but gravel everything was very dry up here, so no issues with mud or anything like that. You can see I lost the leaders. You can see them kind of ahead in the distance here. I was able to find a couple of other guys that kind of had the same fitness level, and we were able to trade off riding in the wind. The green guy, I was biking with him for quite a while on the road, and later also on the gravel. And then we got a red guy here, doesn't care about aerodynamics, happy to just sit up with his wide handlebars and eat the wind for the rest of us. So very nice of him to provide some shelter for the rest of us. And yeah, you can see that there's a little bit of ups and downs here in on this part of the course. That provided some good challenging road riding. Not just completely flat. Then soon after that we hit the gravel. It's a right turn. Suddenly you are on gravel. We are on mostly flat gravel at this point. This is the Cascade to Palouse trail that is there's no cars allowed here, so it's non-motorized trail. So it's just the bicycles that bikes and hikers that are taking up this trail. That means that the gravel can sometimes be quite deep. Some of that gravel was pretty fresh, it felt like, and quite deep. So there were a couple of spots where your tires really dig in, and it's easy to lose control. Started out behind another Lauf guy, and then soon after, this train of three people, two Cannondale Topstones and one other bike came, and they clearly knew what they were doing. had a very nice train going with shifting, taking turns with being in the wind. We went through quite a few tunnels, some of the tunnels longer than others. You can see here poor soul got stuck in the tunnel, probably lost their front headlight, and did not feel comfortable making their way through this tunnel without any light. So they were just waiting for somebody else to come and catch up, who did have a headlight in order to be able to finish that tunnel. I did see a couple of lamps and other things that had definitely shaken loose on this Cascade to Palouse trail, because it was quite bumpy, and you can see sometimes there are some pretty big rocks in the way, and you would expect that as you go through some of these tunnels that the tunnels are nice and clean on the inside, but no, they're full of rocks, and quite surprisingly large rocks at some times. So definitely a good idea to have a headlamp when you go through those tunnels at speed, so that you don't end up getting knocked off your bike. These guys, they're going about 19 miles an hour through those first 20 miles. I was just hanging on for dear life, thinking that, hoping that I was going to be able to hold on until the end of this section, and then we get to the rest stop, get some water and fuel. They took off way before I was able to take off, and at that point it didn't really matter, because now the climbing starts, and being in a train of aerodynamics does not really make much of a difference when you're on the steep slopes of some of these hills or mountains that we're climbing up. So yeah, now we're on these very nice, not very busy gravel roads, just slowly making our way to the top of the mountain here. At this point, we're still on the valley side of the mountain, so at this point we're still at cell service, but soon we'll make our way up and over that first mountain, and then we'll be on the back side of that mountain. So that's the point when cell service disappears. And again, yeah, you can see this beautiful weather still, blue sky.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day for it. This is definitely a hill that needs the Eagle transmission in order for me to get up. Other people can get up without, but me, I enjoy the Eagle transmission a lot. Oh.
Yeah, there was a couple of other people out enjoying the day on the mountain here, so always a good idea to listen out for noise. Keep an eye out for traffic coming in either your direction or the opposite direction. Yeah, just had to stop a couple of times to enjoy the beautiful view. Now we're on the backside of that first mountain, and on the way up, I did see a couple of people who wisely decided to not make it down on the other side of the mountain, but instead make it down on the side of the mountain that would take them back to the start. That's always a good idea if you're not feeling confident in your climbing or your ability to finish the ride. It's always best to turn back before you make it down on the opposite side of the mountain, because now yeah, you have to climb back up in order to make it back to the beginning. So yeah, very nice descents here, smooth, easy gravel to enjoy going down. The Lauf did an amazing job. At this point, I think I still had, yeah, this is where I stopped to let some of the air out of my tires.
You doing good?
Yeah, just got the thing.
Oh.
This is the second rest stop that we've come into. You can see actually the train of the two Cannondale bikes and the other guy.
Now we're on the backside of the mountains. We're gonna make our way to the top, and then I think this is the one where they say it's a stair stepper. So I think there's three good climbs, maybe 4, and then it's just downhill to the end. So far, the first downhill not too bad. It's a little bit fast, and I'd forgotten to take the air out of the tires, so I'm still running quite high PSI. Plan was run high PSI for the road, then when we hit the gravel, I was going to take the air out of those tires, make them a little softer, more compliant, but that plan of course went out the window as soon as everybody started to race onto the gravel, and it was just holding on for dear life to try and stay with the group. But boy, that was fun. That was probably the fastest I've gone on gravel. Slight uphill, but group of 3 were pulling real strong at the front. Average speed about 17 to 19 miles an hour on a slight uphill on the Cascade to Palouse trail. Turns out that trail is very loose gravel. Oh, just a look at that, huh? I'm already going uphill, but a nice little kicker coming up here. That third gear from the smallest, it's really giving me some trouble. Just doesn't want to stay in that gear, so I'll need to figure out how to adjust for that. Luckily, second to lowest, no issues. Very lowest gear, no issues also. So those are the gears that I'm spending most of my time in anyways. This is working out well for me. Really loving that Eagle cassette on the back. There's no way I would do this with my Damani with the 44. That's the biggest chain ring on the back. 52. That's the way to go on these kind of climbs. So nice. Just grinding out. Good cadence. This bike has no problem getting up these hills. Such a good bike.
backside of the mountains now, just kind of making our way up and down, up and down. Slowly, sort of stepping our way to the top of the last mountain. I was very fortunate to ride this part with another guy that was at about probably a little bit better, a little bit better condition than I was, since he did take off in the end and left me behind. But he was very nice to sort of ride this part with me, and it's always nice when you're going up some of these long climbs to have somebody to talk to and not just suffer in silence. Although of course it was nice suffering. We had a lot of fun going up these hills. Yeah, here's just a little bit of one of the slight downhills that we go through in order to get to the next big climb. You can see it kind of, you snake your way nicely across what is almost the top of the mountains here. Yeah, we pass from one side of the mountain to the other side of the mountain.
We're going the right way?
So this is like a little pass here. A bunch of people waiting. Was worried that they were lost, which would mean that we were lost. But yeah, the bike computer, the GPS told us that everything was on track. So yeah, here we go. Next, as soon as you go downhill, and then it's time to go back uphill. At this time, we were lucky enough that the clouds had sort of condensed a little bit above us. So this time, it has now been quite a while since we had gotten any water from, or we had been at the last rest stop, so we were running out a little bit of water. The heat that we had experienced earlier would have made this climb a lot less enjoyable, but as you can see, it's now quite overcast. But the clouds are hanging very high in the sky, so you still get great views of the ridge line. This is the ridge line that we're sort of going across now. On our left is the valley that we started in, and this really nice ridge line road takes us right across to the final of the rest stops. It is time to go down. So we're starting at about probably about 4,500 feet, and we need to get down to 2,000 feet. So now we're essentially, yeah, you can see how high we are, and we need to end up down there at the bottom. This is this road, I believe, was the 4510. It's apparently this was the climb on another ride that often happens in this area, but it was the descent for us today on this day. So it's pretty steep down. Definitely had to stop a couple of times just to let the brakes cool down. Yeah, everything got very squeaky, and as I got towards the bottom, I was so fortunate to see that my family was right there. So I got a little moral boost at the bottom of the climb, and that gave me some extra strength to hopefully finish strong. Unfortunately, this time I was cramping so hard. I was really trying to impress the family as they rode by in the car, but my legs were cramping so bad that I could barely get above 18 miles an hour. But they got a couple more chances to see me. Got to give Liv a high five right there. So yeah, now we're back on the road. It's a slight downhill at this point, a little bit of rolling hills. We're just getting from sort of the side of the mountain down to the middle of the valley, which is where we'll catch up on the Palouse to Cascades trail again.
Almost home. Oh, back to the start. Slight down gradient. It's pretty smooth gravel for this Palouse trail. So making good way.
So about another 10 miles on the Palouse to Cascades trail. Actually, it was a little bit less than that, only about 5-6 miles. They moved the finish up a little bit, so the finish was not back where we started, but it was right here on the Palouse to Cascades trail. At this point, got myself a mini Coke and back to the beginning.
Yeah, finish line was 5 miles back there.